Hi, it's Rich Hoffman here. So I'm a big supporter of Vivek Ramaswamy. It's an idea that I've had for a while that he would be a great governor. I didn't think he would be even available. I thought he was going to be part of the Trump administration in some economic way, and so I never thought that him running for governor was an option. And once I found out that he was, I'm all in on Vivek Ramaswamy. In fact, when he makes his announcement in Westchester, Ohio, on the 24th, I'm part of the organizing efforts of that because I really support Vivek. I think Vivek Ramaswamy being governor of Ohio is a great idea. And so what's that mean for Dave Yost, the Attorney General, who I have been supportive of based on the candidates that were available at the time. Dave Yost is a good law and order guy, and if law and order is the issue in Ohio, which when Biden was president, it was, but I think you can get law and order with Vivek Ramaswamy, and you get all the economic goodies. You get a whole bunch of things because he's a very wired person that has a lot of energy, a lot of runway out in front of him, and he's got a good future. And he wants to bring that to Ohio. He's has a track record of success. Whereas David Yost is a good attorney, a good prosecutor, been a good attorney general, and from immigration and legal issues, he'd be a good governor in that category. But if Vivek Ramaswamy is available, then you of course have to go with him. You wouldn't pick somebody who has not to say it's a one-trick pony, but David Yost doesn't have as much to bring to the table. I don't want to hurt his feelings or anything, but he just isn't. He's not Vivek Ramaswamy. When it comes down to Trump endorsements, obviously, and this is the buzz behind the scenes. I mean, this is a Trump would like to have Vivek Ramaswamy running the state of Ohio to bring MAGA policies to the Rust Belt and to change around the terminology of a Rust Belt to something that's more tech savvy. And so I've been talking about how Vivek is the kind of guy that can make Ohio's economy bigger than Taiwan's. When we talk about California having the 5th largest economy in the world, I think there's opportunities with what's been done in the background with the Business First Caucus, George Lang's leadership in the Senate, with many others. But when you go to Columbus and you talk to everybody and you start having people talk about this or that, especially on the lobbyist front, you have people like George Lang who have been like business first on every category. We want to grow because out of growth comes all good things. When you have a prosperous group of people who are well employed and there's money in the bank, they have room to think about big things that can make society better on all fronts. But if people are struggling to buy bread and eggs and gas, then they don't have a whole lot of room for much else that you would talk about being part of a good society. With David Yost, you get probably good law and order, and I think he's not. I think he'd be better than what we've had out of DeWine, but you don't get an opportunity to greatness that you're going to get with Vivek Ramaswamy. So as soon as I heard that Vivek was going to throw his hat in the ring and run, it was a no-brainer for me. That's an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'll be a part of it any way I can, including the announcement that he's going to make in Westchester, Cincinnati area, Westchester, Ohio, to get everything started. Big supporter. So I know in the GOP that's going to cause some consternation. I know John Husted was being talked about for that, and I think it'd be a good idea, John Husted, get behind Vivek Ramaswamy. I think Dave Yost should get behind Vivek Ramaswamy. I saw a few weeks ago, this is middle part of February 2025, I saw Dave Yost just kind of digging in. Said, well, President Trump has has endorsed me before for Attorney General, I think I think he's not thinking straight about things if he thinks President Trump is going to pick an endorsement of him over Vivek Ramaswamy. I think Vivek Ramaswamy represents a direct continuation of the Trump administration. And it's good if all Republicans get together and unify and endorse Vivek Ramaswamy, because he's the best chance to do the kind of great things that needs to happen in Ohio. Now, the person on the Democrat side, there's a bunch of people that probably emerge, and probably their strongest advocate, the strongest candidate they're going to have is Amy Acton. Now, everybody who knows me, has watched these videos and read my articles over the years, going back 4 or 5 years now, knows how I feel about Amy Acton. I've written millions of words on Amy Acton, and she's extremely vulnerable. I think she's been out of the political loop for a while, and she has no idea of the kind of anger that's going to come at her once she sticks her neck out there. But she's going to run for the Democrats. She's already announced it, and all the establishment types are already starting to rally behind that effort. They liked Amy Acton during all the COVID lockdowns. All the big government types liked that government was, being the parental role for all the, for the state of Ohio. And she took on the kind of mom figure that Governor DeWine allowed her to do, to become really a menace, a lockdown menace. Destroyed millions of dollars of wealth that should have been generated in Ohio. And she's the exact opposite message of Vivek Ramaswamy. The state of Ohio is still recovering from the detriments that she inflicted. So if that's the best Democrats can do, that sounds like a great idea to me. I think Vivek Ramaswamy will personally decimate her in a very polite way, because he's a great orator and he can do it. She won't be able to compete with him intellectually on any kind of debate stage. So if it's Vivek Ramaswamy against Amy Acton for governor of Ohio, I don't think anybody's going to beat Vivek Ramaswamy in anything, honestly, especially with Trump endorsement, which I think is a pretty obvious conclusion, because Trump wants Ohio to do well. He wants to take a Rust Belt state and turn it into a tech-savvy center of aerospace and chip design for the new Intel plant, and more of that to come. There's a lot of exciting things that come if you have the right governor, and Amy Acton isn't it. And people know it, and people are still very hateful of her because of what she did to their lives through healthcare policy. And when she says, well, I didn't step down from my health director status because people were protesting outside my house, it was for all these other reasons. Well, yeah, if she had a hard time dealing with the kind of anger that comes from the COVID, it's going to be resurrected during her campaign. She runs for governor. I don't think she realizes how much anger there is out there. And during a race for governor, it's going to all come out. And it's a real weight on her that she's not going to be able to escape. I almost feel sorry for her in advance. But to deal with that, you got to have somebody like a Vivek Ramaswamy who can lay out an articulate position and discuss it professionally in a way that people will be reminded of it. And Vivek is very good at that. He will have a field day with a campaign against Amy Acton. Now, David Yost, on the other hand, I've been concerned about this since I said if there's no one better than David Yost, I would support him. I went to a couple of events with him. I met him several times in person. He's a good guy. I like him. He wore a nice cowboy hat to the event I was at, and I thought he looked good in a cowboy hat. He's a big, tall guy, and law and order, justice, border security, along with Butler County's Sheriff Jones. That's something we can all agree on, is the need for law and order. You need good judges. You need a good established constitutional foundation and people willing to stick up for it, and he's definitely that guy. But to sit down and have a debate with someone like Amy Acton, I don't think it comes. I just don't think it's just not his wheelhouse. kind of a stout figure that doesn't play well in the emotional game. And Amy Acton's all about emotion. That's how she suckered Ohio into locking down and destroying all their personal wealth because of emotions and her kind of hippie chick mentality from Yellow Springs, the kind of people that are those types of Democrats, the dope smoking college campus stringy haired poet society people. Those are voters, and they're out there with their concerns, and you have to beat them on an intellectual debate, not just putting on a cowboy hat and looking tough. You gotta actually be able to articulate the position, and there isn't anybody better, I think, in the world right now as an orator than Vivek Ramaswamy. So for me, it's a clear decision. I want to see Vivek Ramaswamy win as governor. I want to see him as governor. I want Ohio to go on and do all these great things that are possible with a great governor. And being a young guy, young, not derogatory or anything, he's 39 years old. He's got a lot of room, a lot of runway that he can take off and do a lot of great things over the coming years. I see him, if you want to come to the event in Westchester, I'll put it on my blog site, the directions, and everybody's welcome to come to a certain point. I mean, I think it's going to be a overcapacity crowd. There's a big space that we're going to do this thing in. So there's room for people to come, but can't promise that there'll be room inside. But you should come, and I think if you want to root Vivek Ramaswamy on to a good governor race to win ultimately, I don't think it's going to be very difficult. Especially against Amy Acton. It won't be a difficult primary for him against David Yost. I would advise David Yost to not go through, but try something else. I think it would be best for his political career not to have a loss against Vivek Ramaswamy. Not trying to put anybody down or anything. I just think Vivek is that good. So the GOP should rally behind him and help make it happen that he beats that Vivek Ramaswamy beats Amy Acton decisively, and then he goes on, has a good term in governor, make Ohio the greatest again, better than ever before, I'd say, and then he'll be future president. And so if you come to this event, I think you'll not only see the future governor of Ohio, but you'll see a future president. You get 4 years of Trump, and that's great. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. But then after Trump, there's going to be a lot of great people coming out of the Trump administration who are going to run for governor. Be a tight field, but there's room for everybody, especially people who are as young as people like Vivek Ramaswamy and J.D. Vance. I think everybody should kind of tag team this thing, and you could have a couple decades of great GOP goodness that comes straight out of the MAGA movement, and have some people who are really, really talented running as being president. And I think Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be one of those people. And I think if you had a chance to come to see Vivek Ramaswamy make his announcement, you'll not only see the future governor, but you'll see a future president, and one who will go down in the history books as being one of the best. Because you can't have a person who's as intellectually intelligent as Vivek Ramaswamy is, and has all the great ideas that he's articulated in all these great books he's written, and has been all over the world really talking about great stuff, and he can speak anything at any time fluidly, and then if you hand the baton over to some of these guys like a J.D. Vance, like a Vivek Ramaswamy, and they're in the White House for the next 16 to 20 years, there's a lot of great things that happen, and there's a lot of room in history for greatness to rise. And I think one of the paths to that happening is a trip through Ohio to show how great the economy of Ohio can be, and then to take that to a national platform and carry on what Trump's been building. And you only get that if you pick Vivek Ramaswamy. David Yost is kind of a traditional politician. You kind of get what you get. It might be great for what our expectations were in the past, but it's certainly not great for the expectations we have for the future, which is all these exceptional young talents that are emerging. And you kind of have to look in the mirror and say, yeah, am I the best person for it? Probably not for that particular job. I can do this other great job, and I think I'll go do that other great job. And let everybody do what they're best at, and put the ego away, and do what's best for Ohio, and do what's best for the country, and a continuation of the MAGA movement and Trump endorsed candidates well into the future, so that people like the Amy Actons of the world and all the stringy-haired hippies that are part of the Democrat Party that want socialism, Marxism everywhere for everybody, and want lockdowns like what happened with COVID. If they never win another election again, as long as you have strong candidates in the best positions. And that's what Vivek Ramaswamy represents. And that's why, if you get a chance to, you should come see him on his announcement in Westchester, Ohio. I'll have the directions on my blog, and I think everybody's going to witness history in the making. It's going to be a great thing. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe. Make tomorrow a better day. If you haven't read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. Anyway, have a good day. See you later.